Tuesday. I'm Amy the Medium, and today we're going to talk about the pomegranate as a symbol within the tarot. The pomegranate only appears on 2 cards within the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and one of these cards, it is actually questionable whether they are pomegranates, but those 2 cards are the High Priestess and the Empress. On the High Priestess card, you will see that the pomegranate appears in the veil that is behind her, whereas in the Empress card, the pomegranate appears on her dress. The pomegranate itself is well known as a symbol within Greek mythology. It is part of the myth of Persephone and Hades. It is the fruit that Persephone eats before she leaves the underworld to go back and live with the gods. And this is what forces her to live part of the time within the underworld with Hades. So from early on, the pomegranate itself becomes this symbol of being connected to 2 different worlds, being connected to that underworld as well as the world above. So in the tarot, if you are working with the symbols themselves, you can assume that when you see the pomegranate, it means that there's something about this card that shows a connection to both above and below. Additionally, we know pomegranate to be a symbol of fertility, a symbol of femininity, and a symbol of wisdom and power. So for these cards in particular, to see this symbol appear means that both of these women are the epitome of femininity. They're the epitome of power and wisdom, as well as fertility themselves. They both bring a sense of birth, death, and rebirth, that cycle of fertility. Now, what's interesting is I was looking at the tarot, I was looking at the Fool's Tunic. Now, the Fool's Tunic, it's not clear what kind of fruit appears on his tunic. There's different interpretations from different people, but when I look at it, I clearly see one piece of fruit that looks distinctly open and it looks very much like a pomegranate. And this just goes to show that you can interpret the tarot any which way that you want. There's no right or wrong. So for me to see a pomegranate on the Fool's Tunic, again, if we think about what the pomegranate means, that connection to above and below, femininity, fertility, birth, death, rebirth, power, and wisdom, to have one on his tunic that looks to be ripe tells me that the Fool at the start of his journey already has some of that connection he needs to continue to gain experience, power, wisdom, etc. as he goes. The High Priestess and the Empress are cards 2 and 3 within the tarot, which means if you're following the Fool's journey, these are 2 women that he meets very quickly in his journey. And again, they are masters in who they are and what they do. So to have this symbol be so prevalent in these cards lets you know that this is the place where the Fool really learns this aspect of himself in his journey. There is other vegetation and other fruit within the tarot that you see over and over, and we will cover those in future videos. But I hope this has been a fun little Tarot Tuesday. I hope you go to the store and buy yourself a pomegranate and think about all of the symbolism that the pomegranate holds. Thanks, and have a great rest of your week.